Greetings, conquerors. Welcome back. It's been a while since we have seen one another. As always, I need to tell you thank you for your continued support. And secondly, I want to tell you I am proud of you for your continued progress. Okay, so today is going to be simple. It's going to be quick. There's something that's been on my mind for a while, and it's called writing your own book. All right, writing your own book. All right, so there's a few things that I have discovered in life, and one of them is that there's a concept that you've probably heard that's very real. It's called generational curses. Okay, so that just simply means that granddad had the problem, dad had the problem, and so do I. Means grandmom had the issue, mom had the issue, and so do we. Okay, so these things are very real. They're very true. There are things that get passed along genetically. There are things that get passed along in our DNA. And there's certain things that we just can't control. All right, because of where we come from, because of who we are related to, and how things get passed along. Okay, that notwithstanding, there is an opportunity for you to write, or for us to write, our own books. In other words, we can tell our own story. Okay, so an author, many authors will write the beginning and the end of a story. Right? And they will figure out what the characters are going to do. They're going to figure out how to get from one place to the other in the middle. Right? Some of us are basically, we're in the middle. We're trying to figure out the middle because we had no control over how we got here. We had no control over who our parents were going to be. We had no control of the family that we're attached to, right? So we're trying to figure out in the middle. And so we've assumed, because of how their lives turned out, that many of us have to end up the same way. But no, that's not true. As the author of your own situation, there's an opportunity to write your own story, write your own book. What you gonna do? You're the main character in your book. What's your character gonna do? If you were an author, right? And if you were writing about you, then what kind of person would you write? Would you write about a person who's miserable all the time? Would you write about a person who's defeated all the time? Would you write about a person who's a total failure and can't never get anywhere in life and is a complete loser? Would you write that person, or would you write that story just a little bit different? There's an opportunity to write your own story and write your own book. All right, so the reason that I'm discussing this is because sometimes, as we are journeying, as we're pushing forward, and as we're trying to get our lives together, we're trying to make the moves, we're trying to get better, there's always a nagging thing inside of us, right? There's always this weird thing that threatens to derail all the progress. And most of that is about something that happened in our past, or it's attached to somebody that we're related to, a family of men. Right? Family of men, they all start out great, but don't ever finish nothing. Don't ever complete anything. Just a bunch of open projects and nothing ever gets completed. Right? Whatever the issue is, there's an opportunity to write our own story. We don't have to be like everybody else. Ladies, you don't have to be a doormat. You know how to stop being a doormat. You know how to stop having people walk all over you. Just go on and stand up, right? If something is bothering you, if something is hurting you, you ain't got to put up with that mess anymore. Brothers, there's an opportunity. You don't have to, just because your father was not around, that does not mean neglect your own kids. That doesn't mean that's how it has to be. Just because someone left you, that does not mean you're worthless or you're useless or you got to follow the same pattern as mom and dad. It doesn't have to happen. Here's the truth. Here is the truth. Regardless of what they have done, you have an opportunity to write your own story. You can write your own book. Okay, that's the teaching. Okay, so how do we apply what we're talking about to our lives, right? Because that's the question, right? Because it doesn't matter how good the teaching sounds. It doesn't matter how good the information is. If we can't apply it, then what's the point, right? Well, here's the thing. Here's the beauty in all of this. First of all, there's an opportunity to sit down and think and consider. Consider what it is that you want for your life. How different do you want your life to be from moms, dads, grandparents, uncles, cousins? How different do you want that to be? What do you want yours to look like? Okay? Because just because they did it one way, that does not mean you have to do it the same way. You can do something completely different. Why? Because God made you that way. God made you with an ability to do something else. So what you gonna do? Figure out what you want. Figure out how you want your story to end. And if you need context, that's fine. Let's do context. How do you want that when we get to the halfway mark of this year? What do you want your life to look like? If you want financially things to be a little bit different, then it's time to plan that out and get to work. If you want things in your relationships to look a little bit different, it's time to plan that out and then get to work. If you want your business life or your ministry life or whatever that is, when we get to the half mark of this year, it's time to plan it out and get to work. As always, I don't want you to try and take on the world just yet. I don't want you to try to conquer the world in one foul swoop, okay? What I want you to do is take some small chunks. Just take the little bit that you can commit to, just the small bites that you can commit to, and then let that grow over time. Let it grow. Let it get bigger. Let it get bigger. Why? Number one, you won't be as exhausted. You won't bite off more than you can chew. And you certainly will be a whole lot more fun to be around. The crazy thing about people and the wonderful thing about people who are trying to get somewhere, when they're trying to take on the world, they're usually stressed out. They're usually unbearable to be around. They're usually miserable themselves, so they're making everybody else around them miserable. No, just take some time. Slow down. Wait a minute. Take a little bit at a time. If your journey was a house and you're trying to clean out the house so you can renovate it, just take one room at a time. So start in one place. Write that story a little bit differently. Take one chapter. Take chapter 1. Let's start tonight with chapter 1. Chapter 1 tonight can be, it can be, just call it different. I'm going to do something different. I've been doing the same thing all this time and I've been getting the same results. So I'm going to just start doing something different. It means I'm not going to just lay in the bed all the time until it gets close to time for me to go to work. So I'm going to be late. So I'm rushing. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to get off my butt. I'm going to go ahead and make up my bed and get up a little earlier. I might even eat some breakfast, and I'm determined. I'm not even going to be on time. I'm going to be a little bit early. Why? Because this place is not home for me. I'm going to be moving on soon, so I need to act like it. I need to present myself in this way. All right, let's call this first chapter different. I'm going to do everything different. Whatever I was doing that's got me where I am right now, I'm going to start doing some different things so I can begin to get some different results. Okay, that's all I got today. That's all I have. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. You authors, all of you authors, go ahead and start penning your new life, because it's possible. It ain't like it's an impossibility. Now, it's going to be some struggle. Some things might be a little bit different, but you can do it. You can make it. All these things can happen. As always, thank you. As always, I'm proud of you. And as always, I will see you at the finish line.